Says I'm live. Hi there, and welcome to this day in history for February 5th. February 5th is the 36th day of the year in the Gregorian calendar, with 329 days remaining to the end of the year, or 330 if it happens to be a leap year. Today's word is assiduous. A-S-S-I-D-O-U. A-S-S-I-D-U-O-U-S. A-S-S-I-D-U-O-U-S. Assiduous. Assiduous is an adjective that means showing or characterized by persistent attention or untiring application, persevering, meticulous, careful, methodical, and persistent. A synonym for assiduous is diligent. Assiduous comes to us from Latin with the meaning of to sit beside, constantly present, or persistent and unremitting. Assiduous. I'd like to take a moment to mention that links to my research are included in the show notes and ask you to go ahead and click that like button. A little earthquake in Oklahoma just now. Ask you to go ahead and click that like button. Consider subscribing if you haven't already, and let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Remember that you can share this video with others with a link in your email, messaging, or social media. And there's a link in the show notes to my This Day in History playlist. I'll also put a link to that right up there in the corner, along with a link to last year's This Day in History for February 5th. And there's also what I would call a bonus video. In 2019, I was doing a hashtag 100-day project of a video every day about something. No particular theme except hashtag 100-day project. And that video also popped up when I went to find the video for last year. So I'll put that up there also. I see notes. All righty. Hi, y'all. Hi, y'all, as Paula Dean says. All righty. With that, let's get into February 5th. Now, I mentioned on this day last year for February 5th that February 5th in the year 62 AD, a severe earthquake did considerable damage to Pompeii, Italy. It is believed that that would have registered about 5 to 6 on the Richter scale. This wasn't quite the big one that really buried Pompeii, but pretty bad all the same. And considering what ultimately happened to Pompeii, one might consider whether or not living in the shadow of an active volcano is really the best life choice one can make. Not judging, just remember where you are. On February 5th, 1778, South Carolina became the second state to ratify the Articles of Confederation. Now, don't be confused by that word, Confederation. This is not about the war between the states. These Articles of Confederation were an agreement among the 13 colonies that the original 13 colonies of the United States that served as its first constitution. These Articles of Confederation were approved after much debate by the Second Continental Congress and then sent on to the states for ratification. As I mentioned then, on February 5th, 1778, South Carolina became the second state to ratify the Articles of Confederation. Our country was well on its way to becoming a country. The first state to ratify, by the way, was Virginia on December 16th, 1777, and I don't remember without looking it up whether I mentioned it that day or not. The University of Wisconsin-Madison is a public land-grant research university in Madison, Wisconsin. It was founded when Wisconsin achieved statehood in 1848, making it the first public university established in Wisconsin, and it remains the oldest and largest public university in that state. Now, being such a new school at the time, they didn't quite have a campus yet. So on February 5th, 1849, the University of Wisconsin-Madison's first class of 17 students met at the Madison Female Academy. The new Hermitage Museum of the new Hermitage Museum in St. Petersburg, Russia, one of the largest and oldest museums in the world, opened to the public on February 5th, 1852. The museum was actually founded in 1764 by Empress Catherine the Great and celebrates the anniversary of its founding in December on St. Catherine's Day. I'm not sure how things went for them in 2020, but they typically attract millions of visitors every year. Some things are so remarkable that they are distinguished by name. And what do I mean by that? Well, this next item is about the largest alluvial gold nugget in history, called the Welcome Stranger. That was found in Victoria, Australia on February 5th, 1869. And it looks like we have a bonus word today, alluvial. The word alluvial comes to us also from Latin. It's a word meaning to wash against, or comes from a word that means to wash against. Today, alluvial is an adjective taken from the word alluvium, which is loose or unconsolidated soil or sediment that has been eroded or reshaped by water and deposited in a non-marine setting, like glacial till or those glacial moraines. I know that up around Cooperstown, New York, where one of my fans lives, they have glacial cut lakes and moraines there, glacial moraines. So that would be alluvium. Alluvium can be made up of a variety of materials, such as fine particles of silt and clay, larger particles of sand and gravel, and so on. When this loose material is deposited or cemented into a more stone-like form, it's called alluvial deposit. And oh boy, don't even get me started on that geological stuff. I sure love me some rocks and geology, and we could easily end up down a really geeky geological rabbit hole there. So we'll jump back to the item at hand, the Welcome Stranger, the biggest alluvial gold nugget ever found. It was calculated to have a refined weight of 97.14 kilograms, or 3,123 troy ounces. So 97.14 kilograms, or 3,123 troy ounces. Now, a troy ounce is a tiny fraction smaller than a standard ounce. A troy ounce equals 1.097 with a bunch of numbers behind it, ounces. And we don't want to be here all day, so I won't read that whole string of numbers, but I figured it out that at 3,123 troy ounces, it would be 3,426.3999 regular ounces, and then divided by 16 ounces per pound would be over 214 pounds, this gold nugget, this huge gold nugget. It measured 61 centimeters by 31 centimeters, which is about 24 inches by 12 inches. See, here's your regular inch ruler, and your regular 1 foot ruler is about 30 centimeters. So about this wide by this wide is how big that gold nugget was. Huge gold nugget. Back then, they didn't even have scales big enough to weigh a nugget that big, more like a small boulder, really. And they had to break it into 3 pieces in order to weigh it. And the fellows who found it, prospectors John Deason and Richard Oates, were paid about 9,381 pounds, British pounds, for it. It converts to about $12,816.70. That's for raw gold. And that's also in $1,869. As I read this to you, 2021, gold prices are in the neighborhood of $1,787 plus or minus per troy ounce at the moment. So if that nugget were found today, it would be worth about $6,297,903 and change. There would be some wealthy miners there. Don't spend it all in one place. That is a big nugget. Big nugget. And that took up a bit of telling, didn't it? Let's see where we are time-wise. Yeah. As I wrote this out, I thought, that's not very many items, but that's a lot of talking. It's going to take up all our time today. So hopefully we can catch up on birthdays for February 5th next year. And I hope you learned something you didn't know before. I'd be surprised if you hadn't. I sure did. I always do. As always, again, links to my research are included in the show notes, and I'll be sure to click those up in the corner as well. Let's see if there's anything else. Add the links. All righty. Yep, I'll have the links to the playlist, last year's episode, and the 100-day project from last year. It's not particularly interesting, but it's just something I was doing at the time. So anyway, thanks again, and I'll see you next time. Now we look for the thank you very much button. And thank you very much.